Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
There we go. There he is.
It's the NFC North Open, Mike, on the main stage live Monday night. I'm your host, Main Event Mike, and we are about to talk about some football, specifically NFL football, specifically NFC North football. We are joined by an illustrious headliner panel tonight that is representing every corner of the NFC North. And we've got a lot to talk about today. We'll get started with our introductions, and we'll start with the Evil Empire in Green Bay and Bill, the Packer fan. How are you tonight, Bill?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Right on. Well, you look like shit. Now we'll go over to the NFC North champions, and that is Moneyapolis, Minnesota. And good friend, Jamez. How are you tonight, Jamez?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on tonight? Let's get it going.
All right, great to see you. And, of course, we got Mike, the Bear fan. Even though his team came in last, we'll introduce him third. How are you, Mike?
Great.
All right,
he was so embarrassed he left.
We have our West Coast stat master, though. The West Coast in California. It's our boy, Greg Rice, at Greg Rice 20. How's it going tonight, Greg?
You know, I'm doing all right, man. I just took my nephew to GameStop, man, and they want your fingerprint and shit over there, man. And it was a trip, man. I'm not kidding, bro. It was low-key weird, man.
That's California for you, I guess.
Yeah.
We've got a couple extra guests in here tonight as well. We've got Bridled Optimism representing the Vikings. Is that right?
Yes, because a hat that says "One Pride" definitely means I'm a Vikings fan.
Stop playing with us.
I thought that was I thought you were trying to trick him up there, Mike.
It would say unbridled pessimism.
Confused, like, wait, what?
Bridled Optimism. And, of course, Detroit Jesus, Melvin G in the house. How's it going tonight, Jesus? Oh,
Not good, apparently.
Bad audio.
We love you anyway, Jesus. God bless you.
Are you muted, Melvin?
We are going
to jump back on here in a minute.
Let's jump right into it. What's been dominating the conversation, guys? If you look at all of our groups, all these Facebook groups, social media, it's all about the QB, man. It's all about the quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. It's on all the national media. It's on all the local media. It's in our groups, specifically our division. Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields talk dominate. And I think that's due directly to the Bears having the number one pick in the draft. It makes the whole Justin Fields narrative in question so much bigger than it really should be from a 3-win team. But things are under the microscope right now. Mike, the Bear fan, what do you make of it? All this Justin Fields hype and talk.
It's just off-season talk, man. I personally don't think they're going to get rid of Justin Fields. There's 7 teams out there that need a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Anybody's tradable. Everybody has its price. If you're going to throw 2 first-rounders and a second-round or something in there, who wouldn't? But I just don't see him. He had a better year this year than he did last year. I just wish they would have did more throwing instead of running. But you gotta do what's there available. You know what I mean? So hopefully this year's different. We got a ton of money. Hopefully we get some offensive line help, and then we'll see. But he definitely had improvement last year, so I don't think he's going to be traded.
Well, it's all about the QB, man. There's a lot of rumors floating around out there about Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers, your quarterback, Bill. There's been a lot of talk about this guy, and right now some of the comments he made about Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, they don't know shit.
That was great. Yeah.
I really feel like Aaron Rodgers right now is in a really, really dark place. All the negativity coming out.
That was a layup.
Yeah. Tell me, man, what's going on with this drama queen you got under center?
Well, I think he's probably going to end up being traded, either the Raiders, the Jets, and now they're talking about Washington now. So we'll just have to wait and see.
And I think
his little 4-day retreat had nothing to do with football.
You said 7 teams need a quarterback, but by my count, we could be looking at maybe 10 or 11 teams that need a quarterback. And that's something I'd like to talk about. So, Pride Optimism, what's your first name? What do we go? What do we call you, man?
Detroit Dom.
No,
there you go.
I didn't recognize you're wearing a Lions shirt. That's just an old school one. I couldn't see it. My bad.
I'm not turning around. It's Scotty Anderson.
Nice.
So isn't it nice, Dom, not to be embroiled in all of this quarterback drama? Tell us about it.
Isn't it? Any Lions fan out there worth their salt that has anything bad to say about Jared Goff, I don't want to hear it. He's done everything we've asked of him. Granted,
Yes,
2 seasons ago, 3 wins, didn't quite get it done, but clearly we were better than that 3-win team looked, as is proof from this last season. Now, were we as bad as 1-6? No. Are we as good as 8-2? I'm not so sure. Hence the screen name, Bridled Optimism. I don't know that I see more than those same 9 or 10 wins, but it should still be enough to get us to the playoffs, maybe even win a division, because Aaron Rodgers will not be a Packer next year. Jordan Love, not scared of you. Kirk Cousins, we know the story, and Justin Fields, I just feel sorry for him. I really do. He's in the exact situation that I said he would be when they drafted him.
But as a Lions fan, Dom, isn't it great to not have to concern yourself with this offseason drama of the quarterback, that we finally have a quarterback that we can all pretty much agree he did such a good job last year. Ben Johnson's is going to stay. It feels good, right? Tell me it feels good.
Oh, it feels great to finally not have and not even, and we haven't necessarily had to worry about a quarterback since we drafted Matt Stafford. But the thing is, now we don't have to worry about our quarterback wasting his career or getting killed because he has no time to throw. Like, Jared Goff's in the pocket eating a sandwich.
Right.
Good point.
Jamez, you're everything's quiet over there in Minnesota as well, because your quarterback's all set over there, aren't you?
Well, at least for this next year, we are for sure. But I'll just go down the list, man. But Cousins, he's going to be in a situation where it's going to be a put up. I think they're going to get this defense together at least somewhat to the point where if he puts the points up, we should win most games. So he's going to be in a put up or shut up situation, bro. I mean, you can put whatever you want on him. The 3-yard pass on 4th and 8, whatever you want to put on him. But he had a pretty damn good year, bro. He was carrying a really bad defense. So I think if you even give him a little help on that, we'll be in business. With Justin Fields, I'm not completely out on him. I don't believe in him as much as some Bears fans do. I think he needs to learn how to read a defense. That's his main thing. Is just that when if that first read isn't there, he's taking off, and a lot of that might have to do with the offense. Yeah, there you go. That's why I said I'm not. That's why I say I'm not going to write him off, because I believe if you do put the pieces around him like the Bears now have the chance to do, that he can make some things happen. But I'll say with that, if he does it this year, I might have to start leaning towards the other side. I think Jared Goff did have a pretty damn good year. I think he was probably, if you had a gauge, I'd say he's the best quarterback in the North last year. But I'd say to ask him to be better than that, or to even repeat that next year, is a huge goddamn ask. And I'm not confident that he can do that. Who did I mean? And Aaron Rodgers, man, I think it's going to come down to what he really wants to do. I think when he finally meets with Green Bay and he lays it on the line, they're going to go with how he feels about it. If he just going to say, Aaron, man, if you want to restructure, do you want to retire here? We'll make it happen. But if you think you're going to hold our feet to the fire, or you think you're going to come in here like you're running shit, well, you motherfucker, you can be a Jet tomorrow. I really think it's going to just come down to, after he gets out of his goddamn ayahuasca field retreat that he's doing. So they'll put this shit together. That's what I think, man. I think he probably, if I had to say on an average of 100%, I'd say he's probably 65% a chance that he's a goner.
65%. That's a good take, Jamez. Thank you. Greg Rice out on the West Coast. Feel good to be a Lions fan these days, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, the way I look at it, you guys, is we're stepping into the North with the most consistency. Other than Jamal Williams, you guys, all our key pieces are in place. I look at our offensive line. We have yet in 2 years to put out our starting 5, and look at how well it's performed, man. Jared Goff was lights out the second half of last year. I mean, what's not to like right now being a Detroit Lions fan? You look at all 3 of these other teams, and they got issues coming up, in terms of their rebuild process, of their retooling process, or just veterans with the Vikings, veterans with long-term contracts who might not be worth that money anymore. So if you're a Lions fan, man, it really doesn't get any better right now.
Right. And we're talking about quarterbacks, and you know what? This is open mic night here on the main stage. So if you're out there listening and you want to put in your comment, if you want to, put in your terrible take. Hey, terrible takes. There's John Dorn. Hey, John Dorn, how are you?
the king of the terrible take, right on cue.
Packer fan extraordinary, Dorn. Tell us what's going on, quarterback.
Gotta listen to you, Lions fans. You gotta remember, 8 of those fucking wins came from our division, which didn't play very good last year.
5.
So,
5 of them did.
5, motherfucker.
We're good. So
That is the key thing to look at with this team, though. 5 and 1 in the division.
And everybody's saying that the Packers going downhill. How? Our defense.
How not, motherfucker?
Our defense is young. It's only get better.
Because you have an overpaid quarterback that doesn't care about winning games.
Jordan Love's just gonna fucking take NFC North by storm. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, you look at the Lions.
Okay, I see where you're going. Jordan Love, you said Jordan Love.
At home, Lions are great. You take them on the road, your Lions ain't the greatest, man.
Good point.
And that's the balls to have Jordan Love as his background.
Bears, don't get me going on the Bears. They need a quarterback. They need everything they need right down the line.
You've been saying that for ever since I can remember you. Straight up. No matter what quarterback
You need a quarterback.
You're in
Bears
quarterback.
need
No, Love is not going to do it.
Hey, Mike, let's be real here. How long has the Bears needed a quarterback for, though?
We're all looking forward to it.
I would take Young and just to push Fields,
Let the Jordan Love era begin.
John Doerr, you saying if you had that number 1 pick, you're going quarterback?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
For how many needs the Bears need on their team, they're not going to take a quarterback with Fields on their team. Not going to happen. We need offensive.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
Offensive line. We need defensive line. We need linebacker. We need too many needs to be like, oh, let's.
I don't know. Your offensive line is better than you think it is.
It's actually not.
It's decent. For Bears standards, it's very decent.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
So, John, tell me.
Sorry, Mike. No offense.
John Dorn, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay?
No.
He's gone. We're going to trade him, or is he going to retire?
Either way, I don't give a shit.
Why is that?
Because I'm just sick of all the diva bullshit and. He's under contract. There should be done this bullshit right now. He's under contract.
You're just ready to be done, aren't you?
You shouldn't be going through this.
I think that's
ready to be.
I agree.
John Dorn might represent a slice of the Green Bay fan base there that just
he hasn't had over a 200-yard game over a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So it's time to move on. It's time to see Jordan Love has.
John, how many MVPs will Jordan Love win in his career?
I don't care. As long as he plays good football, I don't care.
Bill,
what did LeBron say? Not 2, not 3, not 4.
And then Dom's going to be on here like, well, yeah, I guess he was right.
All right. So Bill, the Packer fan says Jordan Love 4 MVPs.
I've been waiting for the Jordan Love era to start for a year and a half. They prepared for life.
I think he's ready.
Yeah.
Now it's time.
Well, if they follow the trajectory, they'll get
don't think he'll ever be ready.
4 MVPs and 1 ring.
I mean, if you look at our division, the division ain't really that strong right now anyways.
It isn't. I agree. This division's
If the
completely up
running
for the
backs
taking.
stay healthy, Jordan Love may have less pass attempts than Justin Fields last year.
Ooh.
As he should. The defense is good. You have 2 good running backs.
It's our
Great
producer.
running back room.
What do we got in the comments so far?
There's somebody that said the Bears need a number 1 wide receiver.
Unfortunately, the Rodgers drama started when the Packers drafted Love.
Yeah.
That's by the Rock Down podcast. I'm with John Dorn.
They screwed that up.
Yeah.
They screwed that up because that's how you piss off a quarterback, by drafting a quarterback in the first round. But the thing is, they reached for him. They still could have got Jordan Love in the second round or the third round.
Yeah,
when you draft a quarterback in the first round, you're going to piss off your franchise quarterback.
But remember, we're thinking.
I was going to say, you're not understanding the big picture. See, that's why everyone's like, oh, Green Bay gets lucky with these quarterbacks. No, they sit and develop. That's what we do.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Look at like the Bears. They don't have time to let their QB sit and develop because they're always in need. You have to think for the future.
And then bridled opinion. You got to think, bro. Aaron Rodgers doesn't really get to take that stance.
For the
you know
panel.
what I'm saying?
That's just like Lions. Lions
Quick
can
question
get a
for the
quarterback
panel.
this draft. Get a quarterback.
Who's
right now
worse?
in this draft.
The
We're good.
Bears are
We're good,
drafting
John.
quarterbacks
Let him sit behind
or
golf for
Bill
a few years.
Belichick drafting receivers? Who's
Well,
worse?
I think it's a good point, though, that Bill makes. Isn't
Yeah.
it eerily similar the way the Brett Favre and the Aaron Rodgers, now the Jordan Love thing is kind of playing out? Where you know the veteran gets disgruntled because this talented guy's sitting behind him and ready for his chance. But it sure doesn't feel that way with Jordan Love the way it did with Aaron Rodgers when you think about the talent, right? Everyone knew Aaron Rodgers was going to be really good coming out. Everyone knew it. It doesn't feel that way with Jordan Love, except you Green Bay fans seem to think he is. So tell us something we don't know about. Come on, Green Bay. Tell us something we don't know.
Well, he put up 2 touchdowns on the Eagles.
Yes, sir.
this year. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I mean, he didn't really play much this year to talk about, but when he did play, they were definitely monumental.
He has all good mechanics. I mean, he's got good arm. He's got good mechanics and everything.
Like I was telling Russell backstage a couple days ago, you know, the things I was looking at when he's making these throws, he's in the air using his upper body. That's Aaron Rodgers type throws. You don't see every quarterback doing that. They usually have to have their feet
Oh
planted.
no, you did not just compare
he
those
is
two
very,
guys.
very athletic. When I watch him play, that's what I look for. I don't particularly look for how many touchdowns he's going to make. I want to see his body motions and his feet work.
And his
He's-
mechanics.
Did you have something to
he's-
say?
he's
Smiling
definitely-
away over there, little buddy.
He's definitely updated his mechanics. I'll say that for sure. He's updated his mechanics, but
Hey.
he looked trash as fuck at first when he first came out of college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I
that's,
thought he was good.
that's why we develop players.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're
It's
not
just
going to go and say, oh, we're going to win China 13, 14
For 4
games the first
years?
year with them. As
3
long as we
years.
win 8
3
games,
years.
8, 9 games, we'll be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it is 4 years. You're right, because it's his 5th-year option.
If he can start,
this
if
whole
he's a starter for Green Bay, y'all win 8 or 9 games. That's a win. That's good business.
This whole
So, hey, who is
process
the
is like
Minnesota Vikings developing right now behind Kirk Cousins? I'm just asking for a friend. Does anybody have a clue?
what's his
I
You
don't
don't
name
believe in
from
Kellen Mond? What?
David,
I don't think any other team in this division has a good backup lined up.
I think you're right.
I think you're right on that.
backup
Exactly, just
doesn't
like
matter.
Lockdown
Suffice it to
Podcast
say,
said, it's about his fundamentals.
Suffice it to say, unless you are, I don't know, who was the number 1 rushing team in the league last year?
Eagles.
I think
Our
Suffice
Bears.
it to say, if you're
it was Philadelphia.
right, and when their starter went down, like suffice it to say, it doesn't. All 32 teams in the NFL, they do not have a legit contingency plan. The only one that ever can do it is San Francisco, and that's because their offense has not been based on their quarterback since Joe Montana and Steve Young. If your starting quarterback goes down, you're screwed. Unless your defense and your run game is that good, and that's San Francisco and no one else. Minnesota doesn't have a backup, nor does Green Bay, nor does Detroit.
Right.
We're all in the same
I'll
boat
say
as
this,
far as
guys.
backups.
That's fair.
But you were kind of going blanket with that statement, Dom, and trying to say like around the league, there are some quality backups out there. Some teams do have some good backs. I'd take a Case Keenum on my team as a backup, a Jacoby Brissett as a backup.
Colt McCoy.
Hey, to Jared Goff. And that's a
I'll
great.
take Justin Fields as backup running back.
Ooh. Shots fired.
And our running back, Rustin Moore.
Russell, put that last comment back up, Russell.
What's that?
Put that last comment back up.
All right, let's go into the comments.
Says
He
Demaryius is a homer.
said Fields will flourish when the team is finally built. Where'd it
around
go?
him.
I got it. I got it. up
Okay,
there. Check
around
it
him the
out.
way Cousins, Rodgers, and Goff were supported. You're just a hater if you don't think Fields has the talent to be good or even great. I see that. I halfway agree with that, but I don't think people are haters on him, bro. As far as with throwing the football, he hasn't been the best, bro. He hasn't made the best throw. He hasn't. I've seen him make some good throws, but I haven't seen him be consistent with it to the point.
Exactly.
You got to think, bro.
hasn't had the
You
opportunity.
think you would want to see at least one game where he hits about 250 and he just shreds some shit. You would want to see at least one time. I don't think I've ever seen it.
His growth is
Fields
stunted behind
players.
that terrible.
We had one player on our team, which was a rookie. Braxton Jones started at tackle. Other than that, it was a deck of cards between injuries and flopping. Like our offensive line.
I get it, and I agree with
He'll
that.
run all over your team, even though that you're saying, "Oh, he's going to run." You can't
And
stop.
Kirko, that's why I give him the respect because he at least figures something out from the year before. Like from the year before, he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna at least get something."
He's made some good throws.
Because it's one read and go, and when you don't have a
receivers are wide fucking open.
Quarterbacks will do that. They'll make the mistakes.
you get a 1.5 step drop.
I give him credit. I give him credit. He got to make the
you
plays.
don't have his covered, and he's got to take off and run, or he's gonna die.
No,
we're talking about Justin Fields.
Runs.
We're talking about Justin Fields and Ken Dobb comes on. We're talking about Justin Fields. Ken Dobb comes on the show. I want to give him an intro now, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bear fan, Ken. And Ken, I've been saying your name wrong all this time. I'm realizing now it's Ken Bear Down Dobb. Is that right?
Mostly, he still mispronounced the last name. That's okay.
He still says "Go Pack, go!"
What's the last?
The Bear Down part is Bear Down right to the basement.
What is it?
Hey, usually your guys are in the basement.
Dobie.
So at least we
Bear Down Dobie.
There you go.
Okay. I love your cute little teddy bear emoji. It's so cute.
That was my fifth grade teacher.
I didn't notice that before, and that I'm sorry that I didn't get that in. We will get that in next time. Ken Bear Down Dobie. And for the record, I asked Mike, the Bear fan, before we went on, how do you pronounce your last name? He told me Dobbs, so not my fault.
It was my bad. When do I ever say, "Hey,
Dobie.
Ken Dobie"? No, I say, "Hey, what's up,
Dobie, like Dobie Gillis.
Yeah.
Like Ray. All right. Well, Ken, we're talking about your boy.
Over your head.
And of course, John Dorn says he's a running back. But it really is intriguing to me.
You'd be a running back too if you had no one to throw to.
This guy's got superstar potential, no doubt about it. But all the groups are abuzz with it. It's a quarterback-driven league. That's what we're talking about today is quarterbacks. If you got a comment or a question you want to kick around the panel, put it in there. Make sure it's quarterback-related. So, Ken, I want to ask you, what is going on with this Bears quarterback? Do you think they're going to keep him? Are they going to run with him, even though they're the regime that didn't draft him?
I just heard that
Good
he's
point.
fucking need a
Good
crybaby
point.
now. He fucking
What I
wants
said
to
from
do
the very
dome.
beginning.
He only wants to play in domes now. He can't play on
The question I
You
was
can
asked,
run faster on turf.
I'm just
It
wondering,
makes sense.
guys. I mean,
Let him get his question, guys.
So here we go.
Go ahead.
So now, if I can answer the question that was asked, I'll do that. Yeah, the Bears keep. Well, let all you clickbaiters click on all these little links that say, "Oh, they're going to trade him. They're going to do this, that." Go right ahead. Talk all that smack you want. Poles is going to keep him. He's not going to trade him. So Poles didn't draft him. Big deal. It doesn't automatically mean you're going to trade a guy. The guy.
This is his third year coming up, right?
What now?
Third year
coming up for Fields?
Yeah, this will be his second full
Does
year.
he have a 4-year contract, or is it 3 and an option?
He's under control, right? He's under team control still. They don't have a need to trade him. I mean, I love all this clickbait. Let everyone think they're going to trade him. I mean, go right ahead. I mean, you have Waj out there saying that Love is going to be the best quarterback in the history of football. Go right ahead.
Can I actually respond real quick, though, Ken? Now, see how you say how this is all clickbait and whatnot, how we shouldn't be responding and clicking in. You know, it's just all this big media hype. But when it's flipped and it's Aaron Rodgers, it's all legit. And it's, you know,
you got him. Real got it.
Going to the Jets. Hell, we might get Devontae Adams over here in Chicago. I've heard it all, bro. I've heard it all.
Look, you know more than anyone, Bill, because I've talked real with you. That I've been realistic in what I think of Aaron Rodgers and what his situation is going to be year to year. Is it fun to hypothesize some of the craziness we see? Sure. The Devontae Adams trade idea, was that kind of interesting to entertain when we didn't know what Vegas was going to do?
One, huh? You were really digging into that one.
Hey, it was interesting because with the number one pick, there are a lot of different options. And before we know what teams are going to do, what are the Raiders going to do? The Devontae Adams thing from the Raiders for the number one pick is still a possibility. Because if Rodgers
they said the Raiders, the Jets, and now Washington has called.
If Rodgers doesn't go to Vegas, they may want to move on from Devontae Adams because they're going to be, fire sale rebuild. Hey, Chicago, how about we give you Devontae and our number one for the number one pick so we can draft our franchise quarterback? And so there's still some of those scenarios
today,
out.
as of 3:00, Randall Cobb, Mason Crosby, Mercedes Lewis, Tanyan, Amos are not under contract anymore.
Yeah,
So.
Green Bay is a whole other animal with their money situation and the
We're
amount of
not
people.
that bad off. We're not that bad off at all.
Though, Bill, what are they going to do?
I mean, and look, and we know, Bill, that they're going to restructure contracts. In fact, someone already restructured a contract for Green Bay.
Aaron Jones
yesterday.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones. So I mean, they get Bill and I always laugh about this because everyone always talks about, oh, you don't have the money. And Rob Haspel's is great saying, oh, you guys are going to be broke. And then really, me and Bill just sit back and laugh because every year,
Cap really
like
means
clockwork,
nothing. They always find
Rob Haspel's will come out here. Rob Haspel's going to come out here and he's going to tell everyone how this team has no money, that team has no money. Yet every year they have the money. Why?
Yeah.
Restructured.
Hey, Ken.
They make moves.
Ken, that's a great point. When is the last time you actually seen a team that was quote unquote in cap hell just get completely fucked by it? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it does affect the game, but to think that, and that's why they raise this shit every year, man, for teams, man.
Actually, wasn't the Minnesota Vikings the last one in the North to get in trouble and actually lost draft picks from that, like in the last 10 years or so? 5 years?
I remember some shit like that. I do remember that, Bill.
With a negative
I remember that
point differential. How do you do that?
You still see cap. Like,
hey, we call it. Doesn't it sound like some Viking shit to do?
Yeah. It does.
Historically,
get on board with that.
Cap.
Would you trade those 13 wins for one Super Bowl win? Bet you would.
I'd trade every goddamn division title we had for one.
So, Bill and John, what are you guys going to do for a tight end if Robert Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis and his ugly Chuck Taylor cleats are not coming back? What are you guys going to do for
I'll
a
let
tight
John
end?
comment on this because he hasn't got time to talk. Go ahead, John.
Well, I think they're gonna draft one. I think, and then I'm pretty sure they'll draft one. And
it's heavy this year in the draft.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
So.
I think they might get Tonyan back. I think he'll come back pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
he's getting to the point. He's getting old.
Practice squad cast off Robert Tonyan.
Yeah.
But you know what, though?
He's a serviceable tight end. I mean, he's
good.
He'd be a good number two,
right.
number three option.
He ain't great, but he ain't bad. He knows the offense.
Good.
Why not?
His numbers.
All we do is let tight ends go, and they're Pro Bowlers for other teams.
And what's crazy on Rocked On Podcast just said how the Vikings are going to be miserable. Dude.
Yeah, we're going to be miserable because we're 23 million under? That means we're going to be miserable? Bro, that's two players.
He's not under contract.
Bro, that's two players, bro. We could be above with two players.
By the time they got to re-sign Kirk Cousins,
three players.
Be going for about
Minnesota will be miserable when they only win 9 games, as do we, but we get the tiebreaker and they don't make the playoffs.
Oh no, bro!
I like
it.
I would say Minnesota.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be the first to 11 wins, somewhere around there. So it's gonna be at least 11 wins needed.
For sure, or 11 wins it for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think at least 11.
Really, there's one big question mark in the division, and that's Green Bay. There's two big question marks. There's what Chicago parlay offseason into as far as free agents, trade, draft, right? And then for Green Bay, it's the Rodgers question, right? Like, what's that team look like? Is it a Love team, a Rodgers team? Minnesota will probably could have a little bit of drop off. They could stay the same. It just depends on some of their personnel issues. And we already know Detroit's been has been up. And we said last week, like they're a team. So you look at the NFC North, we're a division. This year we were kind of black division as far as the conference was concerned. But next year the North could be that division or the division of the conference. Watch.
It's the same as it has been for a lot of years. Black and blue.
Yeah.
Right.
And so movement that from 1 to 4, really the gap has been really tiny. You're talking 2-3 players there. The Bears get an O-line, all of a sudden, hey, they've got an offense that can pass because they can protect the quarterback.
No.
No. You had me till you got there.
See, look, for a second, you got real. That's hilarious.
You're sorry, Bears fans. You're not the Jaguars. You're not going from first pick to division winner.
Hey, you never know it can happen, and when it happens, I hope you guys are around to say that.
Yeah.
Hey,
seriously,
real quick, you guys.
You rewind last year at this time. We're not getting rid of Rodgers. We're riding that Rodgers bandwagon. Now it's a totally different story.
Hey,
now
Mike the Bear fan.
Oh, I can't wait until he's gone. Because you're tired of drama that the Bears has been saying for years.
Hey, Mike the Bear fan and Ken, look, I've been a subscriber.
But the only difference from last year to this year is, we got to sign a lot of players, but we got a hell of a bank.
True.
You finally drafted a good quarterback, and now he's not going to finish out his rookie contract there.
Y'all do got the bank.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead, Greg Rice.
Hey, so I'm going to be real with you guys. Look, so I've been a subscriber to PFF for well over 10 years now, man. And look, this is the first time in history they'll do these off-season articles of team needs. And I've seen some pretty bad Lions teams over that last decade. But I'll be the first to say this, the first time I ever seen PFF do this, when it says team needs, Chicago Bears, everything. Unreal. You guys got a ways to go, man. It's no offense against you guys, but if you look at it quite literally, you guys could literally use upgrades across the board. Now, Tyler Jordan came on strong at the end of the season. Braxton Jones had a stellar rookie season. But, I mean, what else do we got to work with? Khalil Herbert, I love. You guys know that. But literally everything. I've never seen that before. And I've seen some bad teams.
They have a good safety.
Yeah, Ritualist upcoming.
Yeah.
What you have is the number one pick for a reason.
Exactly.
And I'm not.
And it's not based off of the tiebreaker like Chicago.
Let Darren get his opinion in there, y'all. What's up, bro?
What up?
Look, I'm not even or worse the first either. I'm just saying that.
Yes, I've been waiting on you to speak, A-Dub. Have at it.
Well,
very
I'll say if you looked at my comment before I comment on this show, it said if there was a time the Bears should have addressed their offensive line situation, it should have been the year you drafted Fields.
You think?
I've questioned Bear fans about that before and said the one reason I wouldn't have been pushing so hard for Fields to start is because I was sure he was going to get killed behind that offensive line of yours.
And then the next year they didn't have a first-round pick.
Well,
and it still looks like he gets killed like that.
Yes,
yeah, he does. He's learned how not to get killed because he takes off now. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't get taken.
He has to. Like, never in my life can I recall a time where I felt sorry for a quarterback of a rival team. But I feel sorry for that man.
They need to sign another
and I was
quarterback.
rooting for him his rookie year because I was terrified we were going to draft Stroud. So I was like, I'm all in on Fields. Just like, prove me wrong about Ohio State quarterbacks. But then Jared Goff became who Jared Goff can be at times.
Yeah.
So
well, quarterback.
Guess what? If Todd Gurley isn't on one leg in that Super Bowl, Jared Goff has a ring.
Good point.
I don't know.
Well, that and, the blood oath.
Yeah. Belichick has a way with Goff, Dom.
Too, though, Dom.
I mean, when
well, he has the blood oath.
Yeah.
The blood oath signed with Lucifer himself, the one that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick signed in blood.
I like it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's real shit.
Yeah.
You have to miss me with all of that, Don. We're talking about football here, specifically quarterbacks. It's a quarterback-driven league, and they dominate the conversation. There's a lot of teams out there that need a quarterback. I want to talk about some of these teams now outside of our division. Obviously, the Bear fan base thinks they're keeping Justin Fields, so they're not a team that needs a quarterback. Houston Texans are drafting at number 2. I think it's pretty clear they're going to take a quarterback. Anybody disagree with that?
No.
I think the first 3.
Okay, so the first 3 being Arizona.
The first 3 people after Chicago are going quarterback.
It's crazy because there's so many teams that need a quarterback.
Take a quarterback.
No way, Jamez. With Kyler Murray under contract? See much you're paying that guy?
No, you can't.
Hey, I'm telling you, I would, with the way that little motherfucker. I'm telling you, bro. I would never even gave him that goddamn contract, bro. I understand the upside. That Call of Duty playing motherfucker. No wonder they made his ass sign on the dotted line and say, I promise to study. Kyler Murray, like I said, bro, he has some intangibles, but that motherfucker, he's childish as hell, bro. He's just too goddamn short. He's too goddamn short.
I know, we realize you would take a quarterback, but do you think they will?
No. I might as well say the first two teams. Then maybe not Arizona, but they've already invested too much into the motherfucker now.
Yeah.
Indy's at number 4. Indy's at number 4. They're going to take a quarterback, right?
They should.
But they're also going to sign some veteran that's 35 or older because that's what Indy does.
Well, that's a great. Here are some of the quarterbacks.
Indy is not signing Derek Carr because he's not old enough.
Exactly.
So Kirk Cousins is right up their alley then as well.
Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett, maybe even Ryan Tannehill. Do we think that maybe these teams might look there instead of the draft? You look at a team like Carolina who's picking at number 9. The cream of the crop QBs might be gone by then.
True.
What do we think they'll do? Who's got a thought?
There's some
Carolina should trade up with us and take whoever, don't care. Or they're just going to sit there and take Richardson if Vegas doesn't take him first. But I'm betting Vegas takes Richardson or the second best O-lineman because Raiders.
Yeah.
So look,
I don't know. Mark Davis cut his hair, so all bets are off.
I said earlier that some of it's going to depend on what happens starting March 15th. Okay, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to Vegas, but he goes to the Jets in a package deal there. Now the Raiders aren't in the game for that Bears number 1 pick. That Bears number 1 pick is going to be traded. The number 2 pick might get traded. The number 4 pick might get traded. There's going to be. I think you'll see a lot of it depending on who goes to number takes. I've seen scenarios where the Texans trade for the Bears for number 1, then the Bears take number 2 and flip it to the Colts. Right, and they take number 4 and flip it.
Okay.
Oh, wow. We're getting deep, kid.
I kind of like that because I would do that kind of
for the Bears. Trade down.
There's going to be a lot of movement. There could be a lot of movement. The top 8 picks in this draft, as teams that need quarterbacks and don't get one of those free agents, move. And I think like Baker Mayfield, actually LA, they might try to re-sign him to stay as a backup to Matt Stafford. It's kind of smart thinking, get him for the right price.
Fragile, Matt.
You think Lions are trading
for the right price? Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it.
I would be trying to keep Mayfield.
Hey, kid, and I've said that before.
I think Stafford's done after 4 games, like for a career.
You think again? Yeah. Dom, do you think Stafford's done after 4 games? The elbow.
Or his wife goes hard sell in the offseason, like, no, Matt, you got a ring, and I want to see you in one piece to raise our 38 kids. You're retiring now. And he's going to be like, no, Kelly, I want to come back and play. And then he's going to get carried off the field. Yeah. In that 4th game, like after 2 snaps. Matt Stafford sacked more times last year in 9 games than Jared Goff did in 17.
How many years?
Stafford would come back to Detroit right now, like, oh, now you got an O-line.
All right, now we're going to do a little rapid fire thing here. I'm going to start firing off. I'm going to give you a team. You tell me if they need a quarterback, and do you think they'll go free agent or draft? Ken, are you ready? This one's for you. Are you ready? Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Free agent.
Free agent. They got Kyle Trask sitting there. They're not going to give Kyle Trask the key.
I hope they do.
I think
of course, the guy I pick has. All right. Bill the Packer fan, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Kyle, Atlanta Falcons. They have Desmond Ridder. Are they good to go? Are they going to just leave the keys? They're going to give him the keys?
No, hell no. They're going to draft somebody.
You think Atlanta takes a quarterback in the draft? Jamez, your turn. You ready? New York Jets, free agent. They got the 13th pick.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're going quarterback. Hell, if anything, they're not gonna find no guy. That guy Mike White is pretty goddamn good. If anything, they try to give his ass for the cheap. They if anything, they're already ready. If they can't get Rodgers now, if they can't get Rodgers, I can see them maybe getting a free agent. But I don't think there's gonna be a quarterback there at 13 that they're gonna want.
True. Good point.
Right. But that's why you think maybe free agent then is your answer.
Maybe a free agent or maybe bringing Mike White back.
All right. How about this one? Greg Rice, this one's for you. You ready?
Yes,
There's
sir.
a rumor that the Washington Commanders might are interested in Aaron Rodgers, but they've got Sam Howell, the young quarterback they drafted last year. Do you think they're going to run with him? They're going to go free agent?
I've
What are they
seen
going to
that
do?
article. They are not running with Sam Howell. There is no way you can go into this. Look, Ron Rivera, this is probably his last season. There is no way he's going to put his coaching legacy on the line for Sam Howell or Heineke. Heineke, I think, is a great backup. One of those guys step in for 3-4 games, get it done. But, man, they need a quarterback. I think they go out there and get one.
Did you guys see that thing where Heineke was a Packer fan?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he
No.
said that.
He's not talented or smart. So, moving on. Tennessee Titans. Jamez, tell me, you think they need? Well, wait a minute. No, it's A-Dub's turn. I'm sorry, A-Dub. You think the Tennessee Titans need a quarterback?
More than likely, they'll probably stick it out with Malik Willis, give him some time to develop. But
Unbelievable.
He actually doubled down on that.
If they do go after somebody, it'll probably be free agency.
So
Okay.
Ryan Tannehill, is he salvageable? I mean, are you going to find anyone better than Ryan Tannehill out there, A-Dub?
Malik Willis,
Probably-
quarterback Jesus.
Probably not. But my thing is,
He can't throw
over the
sand
years-
in the
over the
ocean,
years-
but
over the years, Tannehill's pretty much been on a decline to the point to where you may as well cut your ties with him and move on to someone different.
Yeah.
That's where I see
Good
Tennessee
take.
going.
Yeah. They get
That's
$27 million back cutting him.
There is some chatter out of Tennessee that the Titans might just cut Tannehill. So Derek Carr, Jimmy G, A-Rod, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett. I want to ask you, any one of you guys out there, Dom, where do you think one of those names lands? Give me a prediction. Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett, don't know, don't care. Rodgers, I think maybe he ultimately retires because I don't think the Jets want to mess with him.
No way he retires the same year as Brady. No way that prima donna wants to share the stage with the
Then I think maybe he goes to Tennessee. I think Derek Carr ends up in Indy or Tampa or the Jets. It's just it's crazy because there's so many teams that need quarterbacks, and I can't remember a time in my life when there was this many legit veteran quarterbacks on the market.
Yeah.
And it's not like every year too many quarterbacks get pushed into the first round of the draft, but a lot of those teams like the Jets, they just missed the playoffs. Tennessee, they make the playoffs or they missed?
They missed. That's a weak division, though.
There's a lot of teams that are either playoff teams or right there. Like Derek Carr could help a lot of these teams. Like I said, Tampa, Indy, Tennessee, Jets.
Yeah.
I see that thing where Carr wants the highest bidder. He's going to the highest bidder, and he just can't. He just wants to go to the Jets.
Hold on.
Someone's going to sign Carson Wentz.
Definitely. Definitely he'll get another shot.
The New Orleans
Detroit.
Saints met with Derek Carr. So they're looking for a quarterback as well. New Orleans Saints holds the 29th
He could
pick.
easily still end up with the Saints. People are like, oh, he visited with them and, declined to trade. Guess what? He declined to trade for anyone because he was like, fuck you, Vegas. You're not getting shit back for me because you fucked me. So now I'm going to make you cut me so you get nothing, and I'm going to go sign with whoever I want.
That was a boss move. That was a boss move. I kind of think Carr is trash, but I kind of think Carr is trash.
Josh Jacobs is going to do the same thing, except he's going to get tagged. Or he's young enough, he might decline the tag and sit out a year just because he's like, fuck you, Vegas.
I remember when Derek Carr signed that contract, and everybody was like surprised about how much. Wow, was he worth that much? Is he a top 10 quarterback? But what really stuck out for me was that he was able to command a no trade clause, and he exercised that no trade clause, like Don was alluding to there. That he just said, "Screw you! You're not trading me to nobody. You're going to pay me the roster bonus, and then and cut him." And that's exactly what they did. And then John Dorn made a good point, I think, a minute ago. He's just going to go to the highest bidder. That's what Derek Carr, he does kind of have that swarmy thing about him. I think he might just take the money, even though the Raiders are paying him guaranteed anyway.
Derek Carr is the most clutch quarterback in the NFL, not named John Matthew Stafford.
So you know about Derek Carr?
You're joking. You're joking, right?
I'm not joking. Go look at the numbers.
Pretty good. He's pretty clutch.
Go look at the numbers.
Yeah, not only clutch because he's let his team fall behind in every game.
Hey, guys.
Active NFL quarterbacks, it goes Matt Stafford, Derek Carr. I couldn't tell you who 3 is because they're way down there. I wanted the Lions to trade Stafford for Derek Carr and 2 picks 3 years ago when John Gruden made Derek Carr cry in the week 1 post-game press conference.
Nice.
Right.
And John Gruden.
Hey, we're gonna let A-Dub speak. We're gonna let A-Dub speak. Everybody wait for the lag.
Yeah. I was gonna bring up another team that could most likely go after another quarterback if they don't re-sign theirs, which would be the Giants. Like, they may be in a case to where they gotta decide. You're either gonna keep Saquon Barkley or keep Daniel Jones, or let both of them go, or keep both.
I don't know. Daniel Jones, I'll take a 2-year deal. I think
they got to kick the can down the road with Daniel Jones.
I don't know. Patriots may even look for a new quarterback.
What about
Baltimore?
Baltimore?
Daniel Jones did enough to get an extension.
Ooh, Baltimore too. Good name, Lamar Jackson. What happens with him?
They beat a powerhouse Vikings.
Wouldn't even franchise him. Just let him walk now. Let him walk. Take the picks.
Jabez heard that.
What? They beat a juggernaut.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah.
You got to.
You don't think Daniel Jones has done enough? You don't think Daniel Jones has done enough, A-Dub, to keep his job?
He might have, but at the same time, Giants may want to cut their ties with him, or either that is they're gonna keep Saquon Barkley, because most of their offense went through Saquon Barkley to where they may have more. Yeah. They may have more interest to keep him over Daniel Jones.
Well, yeah, but Daniel Jones,
Mike. Now, Mike, we're technically speaking
a lot better.
If we're technically speaking, yes, he did. If he was technically, yeah, he did. If technically he did do enough to keep his job, but if we were talking about a standpoint where if you just think of, we could easily get better, dude, don't let the Vikings shitty ass defense getting shitted on for you, bro. That dude is trash, bro. He's still trash. When have you ever seen him? Hold on. When have you ever seen him rush in a game like that and take off and get in this look and do it again, do his fucking Jalen Hurts shit out there like that, bro? You've never seen it. Did it all year. Bullshit, bro. They finished out the season 3-7, bro. They won 3 games out of the last 10.
Look,
yeah,
did it all year.
The Giants overachieved,
but they didn't pick up his 5th year. They did not pick up his 5th year option, and they brought in a new GM and a new coach, and they said, "Okay, Daniel, you got 1 year. What can you do?" And they make the playoffs and win a playoff game on the road. And if that ain't enough to get a 2-year deal at a moderate,
he's not going to take a 2-year deal though.
He's big money. A deal there.
Yeah, he wants at least 4 to 5 years.
If you're just gonna kick the can down the road with a franchise tag, like, for one, apparently you don't want to re-sign him to a long-term deal. For two, that is what's the franchise tag for a quarterback? Like about $35 million.
All of which is
guaranteed.
$29.2 million.
It counts against the cap, and that number is only going to go up. That's just why Baltimore should just be done with Lamar. Just be done.
You guys are missing a bigger point with Jones and did he do the other? This quarterback market draft is most back, I think, any of us in the last 2 decades. You've got guys, Derek Carr, you got Rodgers, who's up for trade to an AFC team only. Green Bay already said they were trade to the NFC. Got 3 stud quarterbacks in the draft, where at least 2 of them are easy, could go 1, right? But 3 that are top 5 quarterbacks in the draft. So the market, a guy like Jones, like last year, yeah, he did enough. But in this year's market, he hasn't, because when you got guys like Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, you've got some other big questions with clubs that normally don't need a quarterback that maybe do now. It's going to change the market irrevocably.
No, you're right.
Like Jones is looking for $45 million. Stupid thing is, with the way the market and the draft is this year, he might
get it.
Because
it's
Derek Carr, he already set the table, and y'all don't even realize it. Derek Carr went down to the Saints, did a visit, then he did his boss move, and you know what he did? Now he drummed up more interest in probably who is the best free agent quarterback on the market, has now drummed even more. So a team like Tampa, who, by the way, is still competitive and they just lost Tom Brady, is going to be willing to overpay a guy like Derek Carr, and it's going to jack up the whole market.
Derek Carr is legitimately in play for every team in the NFC South.
Yeah, Carr just went to the Jets yesterday.
You can just win 9 games.
I disagree with you a little bit, Bridal Optimism, but he is in a great position right now as far as quarterbacks. He just pulled off the boss move with Vegas. That was a boss move he put off. Oh, you guys want to try to fuck me over? You see that my head coach just completely fucked me over, and this is how you do me? Give me all my money, and I'll pick my team. You guys ain't going to dictate shit. And there's leagues, like you said, 6-7 teams right now that he easily could upgrade immensely.
4 of them in one division, and he's already made his money relatively.
Yeah.
So he can take the combination of best money and best position to win.
A team like the Jets, who are a quarterback away.
And his destination, his destiny is in his control. I popped in because there was a comment in here that I wanted to hit. This is a really, really good point, talking about nobody is talking about the number 3 pick right here. Arizona has said they were willing to trade down. That could end up being a sweet spot for someone to trade up and get a quarterback. So I want to send this whole idea around the panel, and I'm just going to go top to bottom, and I'll start with you, Jamez. Who do you think would jump into that spot and maybe jump into that number 3 spot to grab a quarterback?
The only reason you would do that is if you're going quarterback. All the teams down there. Who has the 5th pick?
Seattle.
They don't need one, but they might.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna give Geno another run, just off the little comeback year he had.
Sir.
But Indianapolis is 4.
Well, but if you're at 4, you're not that desperate to go down one spot.
Nope.
I'm not exactly sure, bro, who will do that, man. Let me think about mine for a second, man. Pass that around.
Las Vegas at number 7.
Carolina.
I think it goes to Ken's point, where Ken said it's we're going to find out on March 15th with free agency starts, and some of these names get homes. It's really going to make it clearer which of these teams are in the running for a quarterback in the draft. But I think Rob makes a great comment, and thank you, Rob, for putting it in there. That 3 spot might be being overlooked because, Jamez said that he thought Arizona would take a quarterback. I can't see him doing that. They're stuck at the hip with Kyler Murray, and they're going to have to play Colt McCoy or whoever they're going to play this year until his injury heals up. But that is an interesting spot. Arizona does have a lot of needs, and it would behoove them to trade back and get some capital for that draft pick, that a team that might be looking for a quarterback, a team that drafts further back in the draft, but is still aggressive, like the New Orleans Saints. They're very aggressive. Yeah. They even work their way back into the first round this year, and now with the number 29 pick. So they don't have a lot to offer Arizona, but a team like that, maybe even Tennessee at 11, could offer up a few assets and jump into that 3 spot.
They love Malik Willis.
Steal the quarterback away from Indianapolis.
Yeah, Mike, especially if you throw in something for the next year.
I think
Yeah, when you look at the where that is, it's a sweet spot because Indianapolis probably wants to draft that's a really good spot for them to take a quarterback at 4. So you're going to have to get ahead of Indianapolis in order to get that second quarterback. I would think, because I think a defensive player is going to go in the top.
You have to jump them.
So you're going to have to jump them. So that's a good.
What if?
One.
Here's
what
the rub,
if?
though. That pick, rubbing that pick.
We'll go Ken.
Whoever let's say if Arizona trades and let's say Vegas moves up, well then if they're needing a quarterback, well then guess what's going to happen? The Colts are going to go call the Bears and say, "Hey, we want number 1."
So I don't think so. I don't think so.
Coming back all the way up to 1 and trade picks
because that's good for the Bears if Arizona trades that to a quarterback. That's gonna make the 1 pick even more valuable. So like if you're Indy and you're seeing a 4, now you got 3 teams need quarterbacks in front of you. Well, you're either screwed again or you're gonna make the trade with Chicago. So I mean, it all depends on how that happens. If Arizona makes that trade before the Bears trade out of number 1, then that just makes number 1 that much more expensive for Indy. So
that's true.
So real quick, let me jump in here. Let me counter Ken's point now because I see a lot of this trade option thing happening. Look, man, so we're looking at the top 5 picks. Chicago, they're going to stick with Fields. Arizona, they're going to stick with Kyler Murray. And Seattle, that fan base loves Geno Smith. And Geno Smith gave him, obviously, the best year of his career. That is only 2 teams that are going to be taking a quarterback in the first 5 picks. This hurts Chicago. Ability to trade back. Are you kidding me? You are not going to get much because if you still got Levis as well as Richardson on the board, I just don't see the angle there. I personally don't. Like I said, it's if you are going to be able to trade back, I don't think it'll be for much, especially with those 2 still on the board who are maybe not as polished as Stroud or Young, but some people look at these guys with a higher ceiling. So,
right on. Good call out from Greg Rice at Greg Rice 20. And I want to remind everyone to head on over to the Main Event 365. And we got some people putting in the comments they want to be on the show. How do I get on the show? How do I talk? I want to get my opinion heard. Well, ask yourself, have you liked the Main Event? Have you gone over to our YouTube and subscribed to our channel? Have you gone to our Facebook page and followed it? Probably not. 365 days a year, we are bringing you NFL content. And we love to bring you Detroit Lions content and NFC North content. This is the open mic night on the main stage brought to you by the Main Event 365. Time now for our next topic. We're going to talk about the incoming quarterbacks. 2023, the rookies. We're looking at Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, Tanner McKee from Stanford, Anthony Richardson, and Hendon Hooker and his torn ACL. I have already said torn ACL, Rocket Arm. He sounds like a perfect fit for the Lions. What do you think? What do you think there, Jamez? I want to start with you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right. I'm gonna break it down like this, man.
You like?
I'm gonna break it down like this. If I'm the person that's getting the first quarterback off the board, and I'm in position to do that, and I need a quarterback to start right away, and I need somebody, and I'm looking for a franchise guy that I feel like I can get the best out of this draft, I'm going with Will Levis, man. I think he's the most complete out of them all, especially with. I'm going, man. Watch what I tell you. You guys don't believe it sometimes. You guys, I'm not going with the big names and the popular guys. I think he'll be better than Stroud and better than Bryce Young in the long term of things. Even right away, he's the most complete quarterback I think coming out of college, man.
Wow, that's a really interesting take, Jamez. Very cool.
It's hard to be wrong.
What do you think? What do you think there, Ken? Who's the best? Who's the best rookie?
I don't care because we're not going to draft them.
Oh, yeah.
But they are when we stop.
Yes, you will.
Hey, Dom, same question. Who do you like coming out of the draft?
None of them. Thankfully, we won't be drafting one. I don't like Stroud because he's an Ohio State quarterback. I don't like Bryce Young because he's an Alabama quarterback. I don't like Will Levis because he's Tim Couch 2.0. Maybe a better version. I maybe give Levis the slight edge. It's definitely not Hendon Hooker or Richardson, but don't know, don't care. because we don't need
well, I
one.
guess we'll go on to someone else then. And I think that was terrible. I think just because I hate Alabama, and believe me, I hate Alabama.
You hate Alabama.
You can't deny that Bryce Young is a hell of a leader and a hell of a quarterback. I realize he's only 6 foot tall, but
he's a
the guy is got something special. And I think he's going to be a good pro. CJ Stroud, he's really turned a lot of the haters on their head with that performance in the championship game.
Yeah.
I think he could be great. And to Jamez's point, Will Levis, he might be right. We might be looking. He's got Josh Allen type skill set, and he's going to get drafted. What was Josh Allen, the 9th pick or something, right?
Yeah.
Greg Rice, what was Josh Allen pick? 7th or 9th or something?
I think he was 7th overall.
Imagine,
7th overall out of Wyoming. So
imagine
and everybody was like, "What a wasted draft pick! Oh, what an idiot they are!"
Imagine if
remember what they said about Herbert? Remember what they said about Justin Herbert?
Yeah. Remember what they said about Justin
Oregon
Herbert?
quarterback?
He turned out to be an awesome pro.
Yeah.
And this Will Levis guy might
They
have
had him
other
like it's
tools.
like the 5th
The
or
one
6th
thing
best
that
quarterback
scares
in
me
that
though
draft,
about Will
bro.
Levis, he's got some really stinker
Yes, sir.
games on his tape. He's got some really bad games where he made bad decisions and had 3 interceptions in one game.
Tim Couch 2.0 until proven otherwise.
And why? Because he went to Kentucky? Other than that, there's absolutely no comparison to those two. None.
You don't take a quarterback from a school.
This quarterback class is a lot better than last year's quarterback class. I think that people are going to be very hungry to pick quarterbacks this year because
that's every year.
But no,
last year was bad.
Last year
was bad. Dog.
Last year was horrible.
Hey,
Last year
there was one quarterback taken in the first round. He probably shouldn't even have been taken in the first round. This year, people are quarterback hungry to take. I mean, even if it wasn't a good class, people would be hungry to take a quarterback this year just
At
because
least we don't need one.
Class, but we don't need one.
Thank you, Jared Goff.
And that's why I disagree with Greg Rice. I think
line.
there'll be at least 4 quarterbacks in the first 6 picks taken. You're going to moving up. You're going to see him. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be better than everyone thinks. This guy could be the diamond in the rough. Hendon Hooker, this Tanner McKee from Stanford. These guys could be high up on people's draft boards, and we don't even know it. And they could be jockeying for position, and we could see quarterbacks coming out in the top 10 the way we used to in years past.
Listen,
for sure.
Listen, in any given draft year, when there's 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round, one is a 10-year pro and signs a second contract as a starter. The second one signs a second contract and is mostly a career backup. The other 3 are complete busts.
Good point.
You sound like a Green Bay Packer fan with all that history, man. I'm
nah,
it's just fact.
Hey,
it is.
Hey, we gotta look. You gotta look into the disparity of the league for quarterbacks though. Right now, some of these teams are really desperate, bro.
Thank you. Right there.
They got to take advantage of the pick position that they got.
The NFL
sprint year.
Quarterback ain't it.
Year.
Hey, on to Dom's point, though, you guys look at the draft the year before last, man. It really Trevor Lawrence. Okay, he's gonna be he's gonna be that guy. I think so, man. I already got him as a top 5, man. Zach Wilson, that's a write-off. Justin Fields, jury's still out. Trey Lance, haven't seen enough. Mac Jones might be one of those Jared Goff ceiling type guys.
Ceiling so
John
low,
brings up a good point.
he has to duck in the room when he walks in.
Mac Jones trash.
So here's the thing that
McCorkle. I'm not drafting a guy named McCorkle. Who's named McCorkle? That's not even a last name.
You're a young
How
quarterback.
much did he get made fun of in grade school?
You're going to get killed next. That's the thing. Like when we look towards next year, none of these guys who go in the top 3 quarterbacks that go. If you look at the teams they're going to, the Colts, the Texans, no O-line. They're getting killed.
No, Colts have a good O-line.
They're decent O-line. They're decent.
Colts got a good
Colts
O-line.
have a good O-line. And a good defense. And a good running back. They have no wide receivers and no coach. And their owner's a cokehead.
That combo.
Indy has no line. Yeah, an O-line that was so good they can't keep a quarterback healthy for more than 3 or 4 games.
Because they're 70 years old when they signed them.
They let Foles. No, man. Hey, I'm with you, Ken. They let Foles get knocked the fuck out.
5 O-lineman Jesuses couldn't keep a 70-year-old quarterback healthy.
You know, I'd like to see. I think at that 3 pick, I think
that
there's
was
a good
Thibodeau that did
chance.
that to him.
I think there's a good chance that someone comes up that's late, like a Tampa Bay or somebody that picked that might have gotten to the playoffs to come into that 3 spot to get one of those quarterbacks of the future. I think this could be a good year for like
someone should probably trade up with us and give us a first for next year.
Yeah,
so we can keep rolling with these 2 first-round picks.
Let's
I love it.
go. I like that thinking right there. Thank you, Detroit.
Forever.
Get some more first-round picks.
You know, I think
Just 2 first-round picks forever.
That number 3 pick.
Mhm.
I agree with you. I kind of Russ. I think it's gonna be a team that loses out on the free agency rush.
Yeah.
Like if you're and you can't get a car, or you don't get one of these other big free agents out
Right.
there, or you can't make a trade for Rodgers because you're an NFC team and Green Bay won't even take your call. It makes total sense. Go up there.
Good point.
It really does.
Good point.
They already said, yeah. No NFC
Green
team
Bay
allowed.
afford to turn down a phone call from.
Might be more NFC team that's up than an
Tell
AFC.
me one team.
Bro, they're not about to give Rodgers a chance to come back and shit on them, bro.
Hey,
They're
here's
not
Oh, yeah,
gonna.
see,
I got another good comment in here that kind of goes along with what you're talking about, Ken, is Max Duggan. This is from the Rocked On Podcast Network. Max Duggan in the later rounds is a gritty guy. I kind of liked his play at the end of the year
Future
as far as
Detroit Lion.
a sleeper, somebody that you could get in a later round. That's a great comment right there. What do you
I
think
don't know
about
much about
Max
isn't he
Duggan,
also a
Mike?
redhead from
Ma-
TCU?
Main event, Mike. What do you think about Max Duggan? Hacksaw Jim Max Duggan.
Oh. He struggled a lot in the championship game. Kind of fell asleep, and even in that Michigan game, even though they won, I thought Michigan kind of handled him. 2 pick sixes was the story of the game there. I mean, he didn't shine that much for me. His reports from the Senior Bowl was that he played good, but he was outshined by other players at the position. So I don't know that much about him. You come from TCU, you got red hair.
The Bayswater Pistol Jr. He's the bastard child of Andy
Rice.
Dalton. Red hair, TCU.
I don't want him for the Lions. I want to see the Lions get a veteran coming in on the backup. That's who I want to see. I think quarterback is a huge need for the Lions. We are well under the cap. We could afford to pay a little bit more for a backup quarterback.
Chase Daniel again.
This team needs a lot of defensive help for the Detroit Lions, but backup quarterback is definitely somewhere we need to put somebody solid in there. So I don't want to see us draft a rookie for that role. I want to see us draft our quarterback of the future next year, Caleb Williams.
So, James, how about you? What do you think about possibly like late rounds? You're looking for a successor to Kirk Cousins. Is Max Duggan? Is that somebody that could be on the Minnesota Viking radar?
Man, if he were to be on the board with our last pick in the draft, bro, I think they might try to get up to getting about at least 5 or 6. I think they might finagle, but I think we're now running stuck with 4. But I wouldn't mind, bro. If they just went like those first 3 picks on defense and then just said fuck it, just to get a guy just in case, just to see, what I'm saying, try him out. What the fuck we got to lose? Yeah, we got to start thinking towards the future. I mean, after Kirk Cousins, damn near right now. So at least within the next year or so. So shit, I wouldn't mind the last couple of project guys we got didn't work out. So shit, we might as well.
Yeah, Max Duggan in the 4th with that pick the Lions gave you in the Hawkinson trade. Get Max Duggan and come back, and he blossoms into a good pro and succeeds.
You're welcome for TJ Hawkinson.
10 years. I could see that.
You're welcome.
So Detroit Dom, man, I'm interested because I know that you like Goff. Goff has kind of proven himself here to be here right now. But what about Max Duggan in the late rounds to kind of develop behind Goff? What do you think about that notion?
Yes, conditionally. The guy that I liked, and Smoke and Jeremy B could tell you about this going back 2 years. The UDFA from last year that I liked that we didn't pick up, and now he is a Michigan Panther. If Eric Barriere isn't in Lions camp come this summer, we screwed up. But yes, because many, many years ago when there was 12 rounds in the draft, the strategy was draft a backup quarterback every year. Nowadays, it's draft an O-lineman every year. So this year, I'd like to say both, but there's less picks, but I would still take both. If we don't, I mean, like I said, any team that's, if your starting quarterback gets hurt, unless you're the San Francisco 49ers, you're fucked. But, yeah, I'm good with Duggan. I mean, I've said for the last couple years, even back when we had Stafford, like, yes, you need a contingency plan. And especially now, because our O-line is so good, like, this team is, the defense is getting better, but the offense is good enough. Like, we should be run-based. We ran for 2,000 yards last year, still managed to throw for over 4,000, but I don't expect that type of year from Goff again. No. Not that I'm, like, worried about it, but I don't even want to say it.
Yeah.
But
we don't want to be going. We don't want to be.
And whoever said points. We need to pick up a veteran, you're probably right, because I could see this being the year when we start I don't even want to say it. I'm going to say it, and I'm sorry for when it happens because I have a way of saying these things.
Don't say it.
Let's have all I'll say is let's have a legitimate veteran contingency plan for Goff.
I like that. I like that.
I'm saying it without saying it.
I'll take Gardner Minshew.
The mustache.
Me too. I had to take Baker Mayfield 2 years ago. I wanted us to draft Jalen Hurts when I thought we could coax Lincoln Riley out of the college ranks, but the Lions we don't go outside the box like that for coaching hires.
So it's quarterbacks. QBs rule. That is everything that's done on every NFL team is predicated on the most important position, not only in football, but arguably in all of sports, the quarterback position. It's been a great time exploring the depths of the quarterback world with you guys all tonight. Any other comments we want to get to, Russ?
I mean, that was the one that I wanted to get to for sure, because I thought that was a good topic that we could all hit. And I know that, and I didn't ask the Bear fans because you guys seem pretty happy with Fields, so we're not going to explore the Duggan.
Justin Fields anymore.
I have a question for the panel.
Actually, if you look at the Bears' backup situation right now, we don't have one under contract. So if I could get him in a later round to be a backup for Fields, I kind of like that idea. Kind of like with what Baltimore did, two similar type quarterbacks, right? So it wouldn't be a bad idea for a backup to Fields. I mean, if you're getting the guy in the 5th, 6th round, it might be a good.
That surprised me. Yeah.
Why
you could go get Andy Dalton back and draft his son?
Why would
I like it.
Right.
I just didn't expect that. That's good, but Detroit Dom, you had a question, man. You want to throw something around before we sign out here?
So I can't even say on the off chance, on the what I would still say is 50-50 chance that we don't re-sign Jamal Williams, and we can't count on DeAndre Swift after next year because we're going to pimp him for a year. Hopefully he stays healthy, and then we let him go, get the draft comp. Who should we look at in free agency if Jamal Williams gets let go? My guy, because last year when we needed a wideout, I said DJ Shark about 3 months before free agency, and it happened. My guy is Marlon Mack.
Okay.
Washed up.
All right.
No. He's like 27 and very low mileage.
You want to start with that
my
one,
guy's
Mike?
Melvin Gordon.
No, you didn't.
Gordon comes.
No, you didn't. A Wisconsin running back?
Hey, you asked. I know if Greg Rice 20 was still here, West Coast Stat Master would be all over that Tony Pollard thing. Maybe get him on, even though he's got a busted leg.
Me and Greg love Tony Pollard, but he's going to cost too much.
But no, I think they should go into the draft. I mean, I am not going to hate on Brad Holmes if they go at 18 or the first second round pick and take like Robinson out of Texas. I'm not going to hate it.
We're going to trade down from 6, up from 18, and take Bijan at like 12.
Let's do it. Like that would be so. This offensive line with
behind that line,
running back,
and the best prospect since Saquon. And if we've already traded down from 6,
I like that notion. What do you think? That you should we send us to the Bear fans here?
They don't.
I want to hear what
Mike
Aaron Jones.
Mike the Bear fan. Are you guys thinking about running back? You guys going to just keep Montgomery and go with Khalil Herbert, or you think they may be looking at running backs maybe in the draft?
Obviously they have to address. I'll be right back.
So while he's fixing that,
coming from space.
So look, for the Bears, it's pretty simple. I think we like Montgomery, and Montgomery makes Herbert work and vice versa. They're a great tandem together, and Herbert or Montgomery is not going to be that expensive. 6, 7,
Plus,
8,
you have a quarterback that runs the ball.
I think the only way the Bears move on from Montgomery is if it's some weird science out there they get Josh Jacobs for a song. Otherwise, we stick with where we're at in our running game. Look at you guys. Got to remember, number 1 running attack in the NFL for a couple weeks there, and a lot of that is Montgomery. Montgomery is probably the most unsung running back in the NFL.
Good.
One of them.
Yeah,
he's good.
Underperformed on my fantasy team, but I like him. As an NFL player.
Well, main event, Mike. There's something I don't like doing is going to 3 Bear fans in a row, but we'll go to A-Dub. I'm going to wait for the lag right here. What do you think? Are you guys looking for a running back that you can get maybe in the draft or maybe free agency?
I'm not a Bears fan, buddy.
A-Dub's a Packer fan.
Oh.
He'll get it right.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
Oh, okay. Well, that was probably, since this is smack talking, that's probably the best smack talking that you can do. I'll go to Mike the Bear fan, and I'll come back to the Packer fan.
No, I'm kind of with Pat. I'm pretty sure.
It's like I'm not a Bears fan, buddy.
But Herbert's a good back, too. The only thing bad about Herbert, he's a good runner, but the only thing he lacks is blocking.
Tiny and fragile.
Comes in. What's that?
Tariq Cohen Jr., tiny and fragile.
Herbert?
Remember Tariq Cohen?
Cohen was little, and Herbert's bigger than Cohen.
Yeah, less small.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back to A-Dub here. I am so sorry.
Doesn't work nowadays.
That's like the worst insult in the world is to call a Packer fan a Bear fan, since you have ownership and full ownership. So as far as Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, are you guys all happy right there? You think they may go to maybe take a late round draft pick or somebody in free agency?
When it comes to looking at the running back room from Green Bay, I don't know. They might take somebody late, but the thing is, we're pretty much crowded at the running back room with
who's your third string back?
Patrick Taylor, and we picked up and we had an drafted player come to us last year in Tyler Goodson at back that we seen during the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
When properly utilized, Jones and A.J. Dillon that's one of the 4 or 5 best 1-2 punches in the NFL.
That's lethal.
But unfortunately, you gave $6 trillion to Aaron Rodgers. I don't get it. And I'm not even talking shit or making fun, but you re-upped on Jones. Yeah. You took Dillon in second round?
Second round.
Right. Yep. A.J. Dillon was one of a bunch of guys that I wanted the Lions to draft. I was like, damn it, they got him, and they re-upped on Jones. Like, shit.
Well, yeah. Running back.
Well, to me, big
contracts don't look at Zeke in Dallas. Big contracts.
Right.
Really
that's Jerry Jones. By the way, you heard it here first. Lamar Jackson gets tagged. The following year gets the biggest contract ever from Dallas.
And then, look at Saquon, big contract, does nothing until, contract year. Running backs in this league are so easy to replace via the draft that unless you can get one for cheap, you don't go out and spend.
Yeah, you don't draft one high, and you don't give him big money.
No, you don't.
Even the best running backs don't get the big money.
None of them stay healthy.
They don't even
not a single one.
High.
The top 8 running backs in the NFL have all had injury problems. And the latest is Jonathan Taylor. which I called. The one before that was Derrick Henry, which I called. Nick Chubb, love Nick Chubb, can't stay healthy. Saquon, can't stay healthy. CMC, can't stay healthy. In a two-back system.
You were going to call him Chick Nub. That was awesome. But hey, for this headliner panel, go over to our YouTube and go over to our Facebook and follow and like and share our content. That's the fuel that makes the engine go. It's been a great conversation, gentlemen. Thanks so much for being here tonight on the Monday Night Main Stage. We'll be back again next Monday. Remember, folks, life is short, so spend as much time as you can arguing with strangers on the internet. For the producer and the headliner panel, I'm Main Event Mike. God bless each and every one of you. Peace out.
Love that.